Hello guys, in the previous video we talked about how to set up a database and display that data on the front end. Using PHP and MySQL. So in this video we're going to talk about how we're going to insert the data onto the database and display it over here using simple form HTML form. So first we create a form, we go back to our script and I use just use a simple form, and this is simple HTML, so it's not that hard. So the thing to look out for is the action. This specifies the location of the script file where we're going to execute the action script, where we're going to insert the data. We could have done it in the same page as well, but I prefer to keep it on a separate page. And the next one is the method type. These are usually two types. If you don't specify the type, then the default one is post, and the post method is widely used. I also recommend you use the post method instead of the get method. We're going to talk about both. So the reason post is most popular is because the data that is submitted through the form is through the HTTP script, and the sensitive all of the sensitive information can be sent through without the user knowing about it. And in the other method get, the data is traveled through the URL. So over here, if you see something like question mark is equal to this and this, so that means that the data is submitted through a get form. So the get form is mostly used for insensitive information and just to pass information on the URL. Uh, it can be also encrypted, but it's better to use the post method. So after specifying this, we save and go back to our front end. It will display a form. So we also need to create the action page. So I created a new PHP script, and then I'm going to open and close the tags. Inside the tags, and as usual, I'm going to specify the our connection file, which is used to tell the system what username, password, and database we are using. So this is important. And next we're going to create a variable name, fruit for example, and use specify the method again. We need to tell the system that we are using the super global variable name, which is post. And then inside we're going to specify the name, which is in the name we specified over here, so that is fruit. And after that we're going to execute a query, the query to insert the form, insert the row into the table. So for that I just copied just for reference and from the other script, and I'm going to write insert into. So the insert into fruits, which is the column name, and then set, we're going to specify the column name now, which is the column name is fruit is equal to, and after that in the small in the inverted commas you can use the variable name which we submitted through the form. So this one is the variable name which we used over here, and we are going to uh, execute this query. So after that we also need to specify the location. This is done through a header, and inside the inverted comma you can use location index.php. If you don't use this location, then the system will be stuck in the action page. We don't want to do that. We want the user to come back to this original script. So we click on refresh again and we enter a new fruit. So this is working fine. uh, we have successfully entered a new row into the table, and now we're going to talk about how we can use the get method. So instead of method, we just specify the get, and then in the action, same thing, we instead of post use get, and we click on refresh since we made changes. And now I'm going to specify a new fruit name, click on submit, and as you can see the same thing happened, the reason why we don't see a URL variable name over here is because we're doing it on a separate script. So it's okay if you're going to use a separate script. If you use the same script, then it will display the data over here. Let me show you. So for example, if we remove this action.php, if we don't specify anything over here, it means that the form will be executed in the same query. Or we could also use PHP self. We could have used PHP underscore self, or even if we don't specify it, the system knows we are going to execute it on the same page. So let's refresh again, and I'm going to write a new fruit and click on submit. And as you can see in the URL, we can clearly see that the fruit name is banana, and the reason it hasn't entered over on this page is because we did not execute this MySQL query on in this page. So we could also let's we can just copy and paste this query over here and it will work just fine. And there's uh, another thing, this is also done through an A. So if you know HTML, then the A is used to send a link to another page. So or the same page as well. So we specify the same page in this example, index.php, and we're going to send the parameters as well, the same parameters. Fruit is equal to banana, and then we're going to close it, banana fruit A. So we remove, this is just for test purposes. I just want to show you that the same parameters can be sent through a link as well. So if you click on this, we are on the same page, but and we are on the same page, and the same thing happened if we use this or the link. Both of you are using the same method. So that's how you can insert the data using post or get method, and easily insert into the database. Thank you.